Hello, I'm Richard Ridge for Broadway World. The new Steve Martin and Edie Brickell musical, Bright Star, has come to Broadway, and we're here on opening night to celebrate with a company led by Carmen Cusack, who's making her Broadway debut.
You got the look, you got the feel, you got the face of true love, you got the charm, you got appeal, I got to let you go. Something tells me it'll be alright. Something tells me it's gonna be okay. The sun is gonna shine. The clouds are rolling right on by. The clouds are rolling on by.
Opening night, your baby has come to Broadway. What a sensational opening night. You got to perform on stage at the end. What does tonight mean to both of you?
It's
bittersweet.
It is bittersweet. I'm a little sad because I won't get to keep working on it. I loved working with all of our collaborators and watching our cast do new lines, new songs. It was a thrill.
I've discussed it with Edie. There's nothing like hearing your song or your script presented by talented actors. The duets are stunning to me, and it's just amazing to hear your work be brought to life by, all the creative team, not only the cast, but the entire creative team, including Walter Bobby, our director.
Absolutely.
A star was born tonight in Carmen Cusack.
I hope so.
Believe me, when you read the rest of the reviews,
Okay.
wait till you go upstairs.
My favorite imagined headline is "A Star Is Born." Yeah.
Well, you've got it.
Yeah,
She
good.
deserves it.
Good. She deserves it.
We're grateful for
By
her.
the way we found her, she sent us a videotape.
And you knew.
And by the way, we were just doing a reading, and we thought, yeah, she's good, but we had no idea of the depth of talent as it marched on for, 3 years from that moment.
It is opening night. You look like a princess.
I feel like
How do you feel?
like a princess. I said I feel like I'm standing next to Steve Martin. Oh wait, I'm standing next to Steve Martin. I feel elated. I feel amazing. I feel relieved. I mean, we can just go into tonight and have a good time and celebrate with our family and our friends, and there's just so much work that's gone into this. Musicals are hard, it turns out.
When did you join the show?
A year and a half ago. I've done both the San Diego and the DC tryout, so I really...
A lot of changes.
Yeah, I had a chance to see this character grow, and that's been a real joy to have time to really create something that it really feels like home to you every night,
Isn't it great when you work on a new musical, it's being created with you and for you?
That is the truth. There are more Hannah-isms in this show than I would care to let you know about. So,
Isn't that great? Could you channel a character through yourself anyway?
of course, my parents are sitting there in the third row tonight like, oh yeah, oh that's Hannah.
Hannah in the 40s.
Oh, that's Hannah. It's fun when I can surprise them and they're like, that's not Hannah at all. That's what's fun.
It is opening night. How do you feel tonight?
I feel great. I feel great. I have been working on this with Steve and Edie for 3 years now. From the day one, we had our first reading, and it's been a wonderful, wonderful journey, and with a wonderful, wonderful show, and the cast is fabulous, and it's nice to get it open. Nice to get it open and come this far.
Great role you play. Talk about the role.
Well, I mean, it's Walter. Everyone looks at me and says, "Oh, God, he's awful." He's awful. And Walter always said, "These are good people dealing with a difficult situation badly."
Yeah.
And and that's kind of what we're trying to come to grips with, and trying to make our decisions and dealing with what we have to do in 1920s. And so he's a nice guy, I find, but he's strict, and he's got to do what he's got to do, and but you try to find the humanity in him.
It's such a beautiful score. Were you involved from the very beginning?
Just about. I was involved starting at Vassar in Poughkeepsie 3 summers ago. That was the very first sort of reading workshop, and so I've been with the show since then. Yeah.
So, collaborating with Steve and Edie, what's that been like?
It's been unbelievable. They're so wonderful and talented and singular and unique, and their music is soulful and beautiful, and and they've put so much trust in Walter and Josh and myself, and we've just had the most wonderful collaboration working on this together. It's just been a dream.
What's it like being a part of a brand new musical being created with you?
Well, in this day and age, to have a show that isn't based on a different medium, on a book, on a TV show, a film, or whatever, it's extraordinary. And to be with Steve Martin and Edie Brickell and creating something brand new is exciting.
I was going to ask you what that whole creative process was like with having those two icons in the room.
Well, they're both brilliant, and they're both collaborators. You know, they're willing to throw the material out, rewrite it. They write on the fly. You get lines the next day. You get music the next day. Lyrics are texted to you at night sometimes. They're very generous, and they're as excited as we are.
Talk about the man that you play.
I play Jimmy Ray Dobbs, and he falls in love with Alice Murphy, who is played by Carmen Cusack. And if you haven't seen her yet, get ready. We get pregnant, and then a big event happens, and it changes our lives. And it's so much fun to play Jimmy Ray because he's kind of the best of the youthful spirit that I have left in me. And so I get to visit that every day. It's fantastic.
And working with this cast.
Yeah, we have I'm standing beside one of them. We have a hugely talented cast, a hugely experienced cast, and lots of Broadway veterans. So we have kind of the best case scenario.
Carmen's making her Broadway debut.
I know. It's crazy, you know. Today we did the Gypsy Robe ceremony, and they call all the Broadway debuts to the center of the circle. And even though I knew it was Carmen's debut, I looked at her going to the center. I was like, what's Carmen doing? Because she's had this huge career other places, and because of her massive talent, you just are like, how has she never been here? It's wonderful.
Working on a brand new musical, especially written by Steve Martin and Edie Brickell.
Yeah, it's amazing. They were in the rehearsal studio with us every day. They are so in it. They are so, there's no ego. They want the story to be good. They rewrite all the time. I mean, it's just, it's a little intimidating when you're in that studio and you see Steve Martin right there just on his computer, just watching you. And then when you can make him laugh.
You're like, I've done good.
When you can make that man laugh, it's the best. Yeah.
You live so beautifully in this world, playing that sassy woman. Talk about your role.
She's, oh my gosh, Lucy. You know, she is a mix between all the designing women.
I love it, yes.
And I'm from North Carolina, so, I know these women. And I love her because she's modern. She doesn't have a love interest. She has a good time, and she tosses things off, and she likes to have fun. And everything I do in the show is everything I love to do.
Yeah.
I get to dance. I get to say funny things. I get to pose. It's the best.
Welcome back to Broadway, my friend. How does it feel?
It feels good. It feels really good. It's been a long time, and it's been such a different experience from La Cage because that was...
Walking behind my grandson, see?
Careful, he might push me.
He's a good swimmer.
Jang. Yeah. So it's a completely different experience from La Cage. So not only was that a revival of a beloved show, but it was an import of an incredibly beloved production of a beloved show. So that rehearsal process, it was kind of like, this works, let's do it right. And this, to have watched, I've been involved with the show for about 2 years, and to have watched from the workshops to San Diego to DC, how a musical is written, how it comes together, how they figure out what works and what doesn't. Watching watching Edie and Steve cut some of the most beautiful music I've ever heard because it just didn't help. It's been such an education, such a wonderful, wonderful joy. As a musical theater nerd, it's been amazing to be a fly on that wall.
Without giving too much away, who do you play?
I play Billy Kane, who is a veteran of World War II, who's just returned back home to Asheville, North Carolina. And similar to J.D. Salinger's experience fighting in Europe, Billy's discovered that he wants to be a writer. And he's been given this gift of his life, and he has decided he's going to become a writer. And he finds a mentor in Alice Murphy, played by Carmen Cusack, who is who is everything. It kind of, my story arc is about him finding himself through that mentorship.
This is such a stunning musical. I mean, it's opening night. I spoke to you both on the carpet beforehand. What did tonight mean to you, watching the show and see how it was reacted to?
I think what I loved about tonight was that it wasn't nervous. It was confident, they knew what they were doing, and they weren't distracted by the fact that it was an opening night. They were up there breathing as one, as a company, doing the show that we put together, and the audience didn't overreact, which they sometimes do on opening night. They didn't laugh too hard, they didn't applaud. It was what is how the show was received nightly, and I think that that's satisfying. We didn't try to muscle the event nor the day, and it was a beautiful night.
Yeah, I think the whole process over the 3 years or whatever it is, including the last few weeks, has been a seamless one in the sense that if you start reading any of the cast tweets or anything or talking to them, the general feeling was we're ready, and they were. So it wasn't like a sense of going on, are we really ready for this? They knew they were, and they delivered incredibly well.
I was going to ask you, welcome back to Broadway to you too. How does it feel?
Thank you. It's amazing. It's been so long. I mean, I did Murder for Two like a couple of years ago, but I haven't been on Broadway since 2001.
It feels good to be back, right?
Oh yeah, and especially in this piece, which we all just love so much. And it's, I have this juicy plum part, and I love it.
Talk about him. You live so beautifully in this period.
Thank you. It's funny. We haven't really had to think about it that much. The clothes take care of it, and the language. And I just have all these like Steve Martin gems that got dropped in my lap, and all I have to do is go out there and say them. It's amazing.
Having Steve and Edie in the room and having them create with you, what's that whole process been like?
Well, I have to confess, I am an Edie Brickell fanboy. I wore out her first 2 CDs, and so I had to get over that first. And then Steve is also, he's so impressive, and he's so funny and smart, and it took me like 3 weeks to even just like initiate a conversation with him. But he's really wonderful, and he's been great through this process. And it's, obviously it's an incredible privilege to get to work with both of them.
How do you feel tonight?
I feel great. I feel thrilled. I feel blessed that this role came to me, and that Walter Bobby's an old friend, acquaintance, director who wanted Stevie Lee and I back together. I said, Stevie Lee, we're in this because we're tall. He wanted the tall parents. So, but it's such a gift. It's a real blessing. And I mean, there is a body of work, and I earned it, and blah, blah, blah. But it's so thrilling to be up there and watch this ensemble and see Miss Carmen Cusack, the bomb of all time. Who is this girl?
Making her debut.
Making her Broadway debut and nailing it, killing it, smacking it out of the park. Song after song.
You live so beautifully in this world of Steve and Edie. I keep saying Steve and Edie.
We all do. It's hilarious. And of course the children, those under 30 go, huh? I don't get it. It's Google.
Their score is beautiful, and the book. What's it like living in their world?
Oh my gosh, it's great. It's great because it's meaningful, it's heartfelt, but it's funny. Just like life, just like my life. You have days where you think, I gotta go to the bank. And you think, but you know what? Last time I went to the bank, I found $20 on the floor, and nobody claimed it, so it was mine. That's kind of how I feel about tonight. I found the $20. Every night I find $20.
It's your 10th Broadway show?
Yeah.
What does that mean to you, that number?
I've been around a while. It goes back to my first Broadway show where I learned integrity doing On the Waterfront. I never missed a performance. I did all 8. We ran a week.
I was there.
You can't be that
here
old.
at the matinee. When Jerry Grayson passed.
Jerry went down. He didn't die.
No, I know.
He came back. That's when I met Riedel. Riedel was hanging out outside when he was, working for the Daily News. Back when.
What is it like living in the world of Bright Star?
It's incredible because it's more of an ensemble feel than I've ever had in a musical. Titanic was similar. We had an ensemble feel with that. But we had this ensemble feel, and then we look out every now and then at Carmen Cusack, who you guys are just going to meet. She's remarkable to share a stage with her. She's incredible.
Isn't it great when you work with someone? She is phenomenal, and she is making her Broadway debut. And to me, she's a throwback from the old film world and Broadway world, all rolled into one.
It's all there all the time. Like other actors I've worked with, Maren Maisie and Kiss Me Kate,
from day one, from minute one, Marin's there, and every night it's the same thing. It's fresh, but it's consistent, and Carmen's the same thing. And you couldn't find a nicer person. Have you had her through here yet?
Not yet.
Where do you meet her?
Oh, I can't wait. So it is opening night. It is your Broadway debut. There is nothing like a debut. Have you been able to put it into perspective yet?
Not really. No, not really. I'm just taking it one moment at a time. I just told myself when I woke up today, just be present. And I feel I'm just on this roller coaster ride, and I'm loving every second of it.
I mean, today must have been really special. Did you sleep last night?
I did. I took some ZQL. That helped. Not NyQuil, ZQL, yeah.
Got it.
You know, you got do what you need to do.
Good night's sleep. So was today a whirlwind day of getting to the theater? And
Well, there were certain people I wanted to get little bits and bobs for, but then I just got a mani-pedi and had somebody, give me a little massage around my neck, and I was good to go.
And then there was a gypsy robe. When they asked all of you, tell me what that was like for you when they said Broadway debuts, you were right in the center.
Well, I'm gonna have to remind myself. It was fascinating, first of all, but my head at that point was really spinning. But I'm gonna have to write it down. I'm gonna have to figure out what this is about. It's a really cool ritual.
Yeah.
My head was spinning at that moment. I was just like, what is going on?
Sure. Take me back to the beginning. I spoke to Steve and Walter. You sent an audition tape in.
Yes.
What was that tape?
It was a tape. Well, as soon as I read the script, I kind of just knew what this character was, and I also understood what the music was. And I straight away knew exactly what. I got my guitar out, and I did Wayfaring Stranger, an old folk tune, and I did a Joni Mitchell tune. Drawing a blank now, but it was two folk tunes that were some of my favorites, and then I did a couple of the scenes, and I sent it in, and here we are.
So how did you get the call? Who called you, and what did you think of when you got the role? Yeah.
My agents called me, and they said, "This is for Steve Martin and Edie Brickell. Are you okay to send a tape?" And I'm like, "Yeah, of course."
What's it like living in their world and the world of Bright Star? It is the perfect melding between artist and material for you, watching you up there inhabit this role. What's it like living in this world?
It feels like home. I feel the most natural, and I feel like it just feels like home. It feels like breathing to sing this music. And the role and the story I'm very connected to the story with my own family history and my family life. And I just feel like this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
Perfect cast you get to work with.
Yes, they're incredible. They're so nurturing and so supportive, and every single person on that stage knows what they're about, as they have their own character set up, and they just keep loving, just keep pouring love out with every single movement. And it's a beautiful. I want to watch it, but I don't get to. But I feel it. I feel it completely engulfed by the warmth and the love and the support of this cast. They're my heart.
So when you took your bow tonight, Broadway debut, do you remember anything, what you were thinking?
Just feeling very lucky to be there, and that it was time, and I was ready.
The sun is